E4 Media proudly brings to you E4 Sports. Sports through the eyes of veterans. Welcome, my E4 Mafia, to E4 Sports. Sports through the eyes of veterans. We are in week 4 of college football and week 3 of pro football. Oh, it is a great time to be alive. It is a great time to be in sports because not only do we have 2 tiers of football going, but we still got baseball going, and we are going into postseason here within the next 2 weeks.
And not that I follow it, but we got hockey starting up too.
We do. So it is a good time to be a sports fan if you like sports. If you are, quote unquote, taking a knee against the NFL, well, like Ferocious Phil said, at least you got hockey coming up. On today's show, we will preview a few of the top games coming from NCAA football today. We are also going to review Thursday night's NFL matchup between the New York Jets and the Cleveland Browns. We will also be previewing all of tomorrow's NFL games and the Monday Night Football game. So, Ferocious Phil, without further procrastination, let us start with a game that is in progress, and that is going to be Nebraska at Michigan.
Oof. Well, it looks like Michigan is just like running the score up on them. It's not even close right now. We have we got a score right now of 46-3. Michigan just taking Nebraska out to the woodshed. And we are only in the third quarter on that game.
We got 58 seconds left in the third quarter, and Michigan has the ball. So it's quite interesting because my biggest thing is I really do believe this year the Harbaughs, both Harbaughs, are on at least a warm seat, if not a hot seat right now. You look at what Harbaugh has done at Michigan.
So we're talking Jim.
Yes. We'll talk about the other one.
John.
We'll talk about John when we go into the NFL previews. But Jim has, 3 years, 4 years now?
It's 3 or 4 years at Michigan. He's had a chance to put his, recruit his players and change the culture, if you will. Get his guys in there and on the field.
So my question is this: now that he's had that time, my question for you, Phil, is this: he is still he is still winless against Ohio State, and he doesn't fare very good against the in-state rival in Michigan State.
If he wins those 2 games, he's
still
got a job.
He's 2-1 right now. You're beating the Cornhuskers, which came in unranked. And they don't really have a very good team themselves. So this
brand new coach too, Scott Frost.
Yes, great coach, but you got to give him some time to recruit some players. But
he will bring Nebraska power football back into.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Yeah.
What he did with UCF was amazing, and I think he has potential. My thing is this. Is you're 2-1, you're about to go 3-1 because you're beating a team 49-3 in the fourth quarter. So I don't really think that's changing. But again, they're unranked. So let's see. What was Michigan's loss? Michigan's loss was to it was against Notre Dame. 17-24. So you lost to Notre Dame, which is a big game to lose.
Top 10 ranked team.
Well, but also if you even look at it, I wouldn't say it's a full rivalry, but there's some feelings in that game.
Well, it's a cross-state. I mean, it's not cross-state, but it's a next-door neighbor rivalry with Michigan. I mean, Indiana's right there.
So let's see. The next game they have is against Northwestern Wildcats. Then they go to Maryland. The Wisconsin comes and visits them. Then they got Michigan State. Then they got the Penn State. So they're about to go into a nice stand of playing ranked teams.
If they stay ranked. I mean,
If they stay
Wisconsin took
ranked,
that
yes.
unbelievable loss and
Yeah,
and dropped like
they're
dropped
down
like
to
a rock.
18.
The thing right now, though, for Michigan being the 19th ranked team in the country, for them to get noticed and for them to move up the polls, they're going to have to start blowing opponents
Yes.
out. That's basically
absolutely.
what the new playoff system awards you for, is blowing opponents out. You're not going to get – people are going to start running scores up just because. And so you better put your big boy pants on, because you're going to have teams that are going to come in, kick the snot out of you, and run the score up. And God knows it's not fun to sit there and watch a team, unless it's of course the team you're rooting for. If you're on the other end of it, though, there's no fun in watching your team get slaughtered.
All right, I agree. So the Cornhuskers are at 3. They've only had a field goal. We've had multiple touchdowns by Michigan. One was a Ben Mason 1-yard touchdown run. Another was Kerrigan Higdon 44-yard touchdown run. Then you had Ben Mason with a 4-yard touchdown run. And those were all in the first quarter. Then in the second quarter, you had Zach Gentry with a 5-yard touchdown pass from Shea Patterson. And then also in the second quarter, you had another Ben Mason 1-yard touchdown. So their running back has run for 3 touchdowns today.
Well, they're starting running back at this point.
Yes.
They should have the second team in there. Now the
They also
other
got a
surprising stat here, and this is something you would expect, I would think, but total yards. Nebraska 61, Michigan 388, with Michigan handily holding on to the time of possession, and they're just basically they're dominating in every category
Absolutely.
here. But 388 yards, to 61 total yards. That's total yards, which is pretty ridiculous. You would expect Nebraska to have better yardage than that. For that matter, you'd expect Nebraska to be able to grind the ball out on this.
Yes. So we both agree. It's 49-3. Michigan's winning this game.
Well, yeah, the probability probability scale there is basically saying they got a 99% chance of winning this game. So unless they just drop and just let them start running rampant, sorry, Nebraska, you're going down today.
All right, another game that is currently in progress. They are in the third quarter with 1:33 left. That is going to put number 2 Georgia Bulldogs undefeated 3-0 against the 3-0 Missouri Tigers. This is a
good SEC matchup.
Yes, it is. It is a close game. It's not a blowout, so there is a chance.
It's in Missouri. I mean,
Missouri.
that's going to be a tough place to play.
I do have faith in the Georgia Bulldogs, though. I think they're on top, and I think they're going to stay on top.
Walk into the Tigers' den and come out victorious.
Yes. Honestly, they're my pick to win the championship.
I mean, I don't think Jake Fromm is. Well, Jake Fromm is. He's having a fairly efficient game. 10 of 19, 171 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Not really what you. It's an efficient day. It's not fantastic, but it's a good solid day.
It keeps you undefeated.
Absolutely, and that's what you want.
So, like I said, my pick is for Georgia out of the SEC. I hope Georgia is the one that does it. I'm tired of Alabama. Seriously tired of Alabama.
Well, it'll be Georgia-Alabama in the SEC
championship game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be.
Okay, and
then you got
then we have another game that is in the third quarter. Is number 8 Notre Dame Fighting Irish at Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Irish are coming in 3-0. Demons are staying at home right now, 2-1. And the score is the Irish 49, the Deacons 20. So in that game again, Phil, we gave you an update, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be Notre Dame coming out on top on that one.
you got 1 quarter left. There's only 30 seconds left in the third quarter, something like that. Anyway, yeah, I'd love to see the Demon Deacons come back, but once again, you're down 29 points.
I mean, look, if you look at how the quarter breaks down, the Irish had one touchdown in the first quarter. The Deacons had a field goal. Then the Irish come and score 3 touchdowns in the second quarter to the Deacons 10. Then in the third quarter,
another 3 touchdowns.
The Irish score another 3 touchdowns to 1 touchdown with the Deacons.
Yeah, Wake Forest is not. They're not a team that's built to go, play for play with a Notre Dame style team.
No, they're not.
I mean, they're starting to wilt in the. You don't want to see it. Hopefully, they're not wilting in the fourth quarter, but it certainly looks like they're wilting in the fourth quarter.
All right, and when it comes to live games on right now, that is going to be it that we are going to cover. But let's cover some upcoming games for today. Let's start off with a team that I just mentioned. Let's start off Texas A&M at Alabama.
Visiting Tuscaloosa.
Huge SEC matchup right here. Gigantic SEC matchup. It's early in the season. Both teams are particularly healthy. Of course, they do have some. Both teams do have members out, but you're going to have that in football. There's nothing really major out on either team.
Does A&M have the guns to go into Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama?
Alabama is 8-2 in the series. Alabama has won the last 5 games. A&M did beat Alabama the first year A&M was in the SEC back in 2012, and that was when they had Johnny Manziel throwing, and then Kevin Sumlin was the coach. The only other time Texas A&M has ever been able to beat Alabama was in 1968 with a final score of 20-16. And that was in the Cotton Bowl.
And that was made into a movie.
Yes, it was. So I really hope A&M can pull it out. I just don't think that they have the offense that can beat Alabama's defense.
Well, I mean, they're also going into the game at a 26.5-point dog. And I'm not advocating for making wagers or whatever, but if that's something that you do, don't be a sucker. Don't take that half point. Take A&M to cover if you're gonna go for it.
Yes.
Over under on it's 59.5. Once again, the half point's always for the bookie. So, yeah, take it for what it's worth. I think you probably could make a case for going over on this. I mean, Alabama has averaged over 56, almost 57 points a game so far this season, and A&M is averaging over 40. Question is does A&M have enough on the table to put 40 points up on Alabama? I think I don't think they're gonna quite put 40, but I could see them putting a good 20 to 30 on them. But Alabama pulls this game out, and they probably pull it out big.
Next game we're gonna preview is Clemson at Georgia Tech. Clemson is coming in 3-0, while Georgia Tech is staying at home at 1-2. Georgia Tech leads the series 51-28 and 2 ties. They also have the longest win streak at 15 games. Clemson has the longest losing streak at 4 games. The most points scored by Clemson has been 73 points, and that was in 1903. Most points scored by Georgia Tech is 51, and that was in 1944. This is going to be... I don't know what this game is going to be. Clemson looks extremely good, like they've been doing. I think Dabo Swinney is a hell of a coach. He's low-key. He's not one of these coaches like Nick Saban, all that. He comes out. He's himself. He'll answer questions. He'll joke. He's very sincere about his players. Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I love Dabo Swinney. And not just because he was Deshaun Watson's coach in college, but the fact that working at the radio station and listening to his interviews, the man is a good coach. He's a great coach, and I love the fact that he wants to stay in college. But now back to the actual Georgia Tech Clemson game. Georgia Tech, even though they're coming in 1-2, Georgia Tech can always, every year I can look at Georgia Tech and they can be one of those spoiler teams.
Well, it's an ACC rival game too. I mean,
yes.
Don't forget about that.
Oh, Phil, I know you want Georgia Tech to beat them. It'll push that Clemson ranking down a little bit, and maybe Miami kind of gets that boost up there, get that momentum.
I still think Miami faces Clemson for the ACC championship. I'm not going to say that they're going to beat Clemson for the ACC championship, but we shall see. I mean, we still got a long way to go here.
And one way that they have to do that is they have to beat Georgia Tech. I say they do beat Georgia Tech. I'm actually going to say by about 10 points. I'm going to go field goal and a touchdown.
Okay, so you're saying Georgia Tech covers here?
Yes.
Tech is a 16-point dog here in this game. Clemson is Clemson. They are a great team. Got a great head coach. I think Lawrence is going to should have a very nice night here. Georgia Tech's going to certainly try and slam this ball down their throats, and I don't think Clemson is going to give up that type of rushing yardage. Clemson takes this, and I say they cover the spread.
Okay.
I'll say Clemson by 20.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, that's covering the spread. I mean,
it is.
17 points covers the spread. So, yeah. So, but I think the fact that they are, even though they're playing in Atlanta against Georgia Tech. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I'm completely wrong here. Georgia Tech is going to Clemson. Forget that.
Oh, no. I did it real. They're at Clemson?
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
Clemson.
14.
Clemson's gonna.
I'm gonna go at least 2 touchdown win.
You're talking Death Valley here.
Yeah, 2 touchdown win at least.
I'm sticking by my 20.
All right. Next, we are going to preview a Houston matchup for me. That would be Texas Southern at Houston. I was very disappointed last week that we got routed by Texas Tech.
That was a heck of a score fest.
And one of the reasons why I want to talk about the Texas Tech game real quick is on Facebook there was a picture. Now, before I say that, there were multiple issues that came into the U of H game. One is that Texas Tech requested that they will wear their white jerseys because of the Cotton Belt. That's what they usually do. That's what they want.
They're a visiting team. They should be wearing a white jersey.
No, they were the home team.
Oh.
And that's what the request was. U of H said no to it. They rejected it. Which, understandably, it's in the hot. Oh, you're making me wear my colors. Why? No. So they refused. So there was some animosity towards that. My animosity towards Texas Tech fans is the fact that a group of guys decided they were going to make a poster against the Cougars. And I don't mind that. You know, there's trash talking everywhere. I mean, that's what tailgating is. It's trash talking. You get a bunch of your U of H guys that have been drinking, and y'all trash talk the Texas Tech people across the parking lot or next to you or whatever. That's the whole point. But when you make a poster that says we will put Houston underwater worse than Harvey, hashtag Houston Hurricane, that's in bad taste. That's in horribly bad taste. We are still Texans. I don't give a shit what school you are in Texas. We are still Texans through and through. That is not a insult or something that should be said. There were lives lost. I still got neighbors who are still yet back in their home. So you want to smack talk on football, then smack talk on football. But when there's loss of life and damage the way that Hurricane Harvey hit this city in this state, I think y'all should be expelled from school or at least punished from school. Because now you got pictures of it. It's not just like, hey, someone said this. No, y'all, the picture got posted. Your pictures are out there. Your faces are out there. I think the school should come down on y'all. And if it's a fraternity that did it, I think they should lose their charter.
Plus, you got memes. In the same light, though, I mean, I think it's, if you can take a slightly humorous look at this, for Lubbock, Texas to be threatening to put Houston underwater is a joke unto itself. But in the same light, stay classy, Lubbock.
Yeah. All right, so Texas Southern, they've only played once. Houston and Texas Southern have only played once, and that was an absolute blowout. That was back in 2007. Houston beat Texas Southern 59-6.
They forgot to cross the street to go to the stadium? Or?
Apparently.
Oh.
Apparently.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have what is being viewed as the number one draft pick in next year's draft in
Certainly,
Ed Oliver.
I mean, you got a pass rusher. NFL loves them some pass rushers.
Well, except John Gruden.
Well, that's a different topic. That's a different topic, possibly later in the show.
Yeah.
Now we also have a couple other games coming up here tonight. One of which that I think, only because it's an in-state rivalry, I think that, they might want to be careful. Maybe not, but you got LSU playing Louisiana Tech. Yeah, the boys from Shreveport are coming down to Baton Rouge to play a game of foosball.
I'm taking Louisiana by 2 touchdowns.
No.
No. It
Really?
is Louisiana, but LSU. Sorry, not Louisiana Tech.
Yeah.
LSU, not Louisiana Tech. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I mean LSU by 14 points.
You're not taking. Oh man, I can't believe you're not taking Louisiana Tech.
Oh man, why don't you take Louisiana Tech? $5. You want to take Louisiana Tech? I didn't think so. So that's my pick for that. What do you think the score is going to be?
Oh wow, I think in a close game, and I say this to kid with a friend of mine, but in a close game, LSU's probably going to squeak out a victory here.
All right, you heard it.
I mean, we're gonna ignore the 19.5 point spread here on this game, and the fact that pretty much LSU.
It's a surprise beyond belief.
LSU
I was
is a
surprised
surprise.
that they got in at 25. They're now ranked at 6.
If you start looking at some of the comparisons here, though, let's look at this. Okay, LSU is a 19.5 point favorite. Once again, forget the 19.5. Just it's either 20 or it's 19. One or the other. Screw the half point. Anyway, points per game though, Louisiana Tech is averaging 42 points a game, whereas LSU is grinding out a meager 28, almost 29 points. And granted, Louisiana Tech's defense has given up a few more points than LSU, but Louisiana Tech has the potential to put some yardage up on these guys, and that's why I'm saying this could be a close game. I'm not going to say that LSU's going to lose this, but I think Louisiana Tech gives them a bigger run for their money than they expect.
All right, next game we're going to preview is Miami, number 21, against Florida International.
Yeah, Florida International. This is a crosstown rival game. Wow, FIU gets to go and play at a big boy stadium.
Get that money.
Well, actually, they're getting a little bit of money, but this is one of these games. It's a crosstown rival. FIU is in South Miami, and the University of Miami is in Coral Gables. It's like maybe a 20-minute drive to 15-20-minute drive with traffic to get to Florida International, but Miami should destroy Florida International. The biggest thing that ever happened with this was some FIU players a few years ago got kind of bold and decided to pick a fight with the University of Miami in the tunnels, and that was blown out of proportion, of course, by the media. But they never do that. Anyway, once again, Miami should just basically blow them out and end all this talk from the 2006 brawl.
I was just about to bring that up. Ladies and gentlemen, E4 Mafia, the last time these two teams got together was in 2006 Orange Bowl game that resulted in 13 players from both teams getting ejected.
Most of them Miami players.
Yes. So, wow. Phil, I really want to go opposite of the Hurricanes just because it's you, but I can't. I'm going to go over the opening line, which is 26 and minus 26 and a half. I'm actually going to go the over. I say Miami wins by at least 30.
Oh, I think it could be worse than 30.
Yeah.
And as far as the over-under, if Miami starts rolling, you can kick that 56.5 points right the hell out of there. And I think Miami would be more than happy to run the score up on these guys. Not to mention the fact you got Lane. Is this Lane Kiffin's team? I forget. Or is he doing Florida Atlantic?
I think he's doing Florida Atlantic.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. The Panthers are coming off a blowout win last week, 63-24 over the University of Massachusetts Minutemen. James Morgan did throw for 207 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, against University of Massachusetts.
That's what I'm going to say.
Division II school.
You're going up against the Miami Hurricane defense. Here's my big thing on this, and Phil, you and me have talked before we move on to the next game. Rozier. He's got to get his head out of his ass.
Oh yeah, and the fans have been all over him this past week. They're calling for Perry to get some playing time, and there's a very good chance that Perry does get some playing time in this, but it's going to be in mop-up duty. I'm thinking
that could be.
Rozier ran for 3 touchdowns last week. So
good, and then that's what I said. That's what was good about having a small school, minor school come in. You're able to kind of get your momentum back, trying to get back on the field, work it out instead of losing the first game to a ranked and then having to get shoved with another ranked team and struggling. So at least now y'all are able to kind of get your momentum, get that steam back going, get everybody hyped up, and because if you rout another team like y'all did last week, then y'all are coming into the next week with some good momentum.
Well, I'm going to say this much, and I mean this is something as a Hurricanes fan, I think it's something that every fan deals with, but the voters in the polls, basically, even with the 2 blowout wins that Miami's had, Miami's basically stayed in the same spot for the last 2 weeks, while other teams have moved up, doing the same thing, playing crappy teams, and they're moving up in the polls. And Miami, Miami did not win their first game against LSU, but they came back and they blew out the last 2 opponents. And as I said, they're still sitting at 21. Yeah, there's basically you got people that just don't want to see the U move up, and it's kind of sad that they're that petty about this kind of garbage.
All right. Now we are going to go into a little segment of previews just for the service members. First game we're going to look at is Navy against SMU. That is Southern Methodist University, and they are the Mustangs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Navy on this for one. SMU's coming into this game. I mean, they are home, but they're coming into this game 0-3. Navy is 2-1. Navy leads the series 12 wins to 7. Let's see. In the last 5 meetings, they have beat SMU. Last year they beat them 43-40, so it was a close game. They were at Navy. And back in 2016, Navy got some points scored. Navy beat SMU 75-31.
And you're going with, you said you're going with Navy right now?
Yeah, I'm going with Navy.
Well, that's a good thing because in overtime right now, Navy is leading 30-23.
Oh, hey, and ladies and gentlemen, I have not seen TVs right now. I'm just looking at my list of games going on today. So I thank you. My prediction sounds like it's coming right. So the next game we're going to preview is Air Force at Utah State. Air Force is coming 1-1. Utah staying home 2-1. The series, Air Force leads 4-2. Air Force has won the last 3 years, while Utah won 2 years before that. Scores are pretty regular. Last year it was 38-35. Year before that 27-20, then 35-28. When the Air Force loses to Utah State, they lose. Utah State beat them 34-16 in 2014 and 52-20 in 2013. I'm going to go... Ooh, it's tough. This is tough. Really? Air Force isn't as big as as strong as it used to be, but I'm still going Air Force over Utah State. Score, I don't know, but I am going to give Air Force the win.
So you're saying Air Force is going to walk into Utah and they're going to win?
Yes.
History on this series, predicts that you have a better chance of taking, of Air Force pulling this out, and Air Force has beaten Utah State in, at their stadium, and I don't know. I mean, this game is kind of an interesting game, but I think I'm going to take Utah State. I'm going to take Utah State to take this game. Sorry, Air Force. Yeah, you guys are probably going to be 1-2 after this.
All right, the last NCAA game we are going to preview before we move into the pros is a very important game to me because it is the Army Black Knights versus the Oklahoma fucking Sooners.
Yeah.
Okay. Army's 2-1, Oklahoma's 3-0. And ladies and gentlemen, if you know me, I am not a fan of anything from Oklahoma. All they are wannabe Texans in the first place. So stop trying to be us. If you want to try to be us, let us just annex y'all, and y'all just become Texas. Because you might as well.
North Texas?
It would be North Texas. They would be the redheaded stepchild of Texas, but nevertheless, they could stop acting like Texans in Oklahoma if we do that.
Do they act like Texans?
Oh, they're wannabe Texans beyond belief.
But do they act like Texans?
No one can act like a Texan. They try. But, all right, so Oklahoma...
you got to take something into consideration in this matchup. From what I'm looking at here, Army has a 1.8% chance of winning this game. But they have a chance. And
Oklahoma leads the series 2-1. But as Phil was saying, I can't go with Army, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I really want to, but I can't. It is Oklahoma. They are number 5. Black Knights have been getting better season by season by season. They have been getting better. But unlike the other two branches, their players have to still abide by height and weight regulations. So you don't get those big blockers on the line. So that's one reason why Army doesn't really do as good as Navy. Because in the Navy, they're able to bulk themselves up to 300 and something pounds. In the Army, you can't. In West Point, you have to abide by the height and weight. So sadly, I'm going to say Oklahoma wins it. But Army does play Oklahoma pretty well. Army beat Oklahoma back.
Never.
Yes. They beat them back in 1946. 21-7. So they have played, but they haven't played in the last 50 years. They have not played against each other. So it's going to be a fun game because no one's seen it. At least people that really watch football now have never seen these two teams go head to head. Now, if you're that, that Vietnam vet or the Korean War vet or whatever, you may have seen this. But most generation now had never saw that Army beat Oklahoma. So it'd be cool, but I don't see it happening.
I really feel like Oklahoma, the Sooners, should have thrown Army a little bone here and played the game at West Point in the Hudson Valley.
That would be great.
Think about it. You just had the first day of fall yesterday. You're in the second day of fall. Imagine the colors popping on those trees. You're out there, nice crisp breeze. You head out to the field, and you got the howitzers blowing off shots in the end zones, echoing through the Hudson Valley, and then Oklahoma comes in and unfortunately destroys Army and basically gets another win, and that kind of sucks. But as Jake said, they got weight requirements, so the Army is limited on what they can do as far as big time football in this day and age.
And